Well, good morning, everybody. We got beverages and blades. We got some hot tea today. Finished up with the coffee a couple of hours ago. Today, I got a little bit of a pocket dump going on here because I'm carrying this particular knife today, but I also have an older version to talk about. Won't be doing a lot of snapping the blades open and closed today because it's a cold day here in the north, and my arthritis is not cooperating with me. So they're open. We'll look at the walk and talk in a minute or two. This is the Schrade Old Timer 80T Senior Stockman in carbon steel. I believe it was 1095 carbon steel, but to be honest, I didn't really look that up. This particular knife, let's see, we're going to get the older beat up example out of the way for now. I'm going to put the better example in front of us. 1095 carbon steel. I have obviously a clip blade, a sheep's foot blade, and a spay blade. Basic rundown. The 80T Oldtimer Stockman was built by Schrade, originally released in 1958. However, I found an interesting thing out, is that the Delrin wasn't produced by DuPont until 1960. So if anybody can fill me in on what went on with the handle slabs between 1958 and 1960, and let us know down below in the comments, that would be helpful. Let's see, originally released in 1958, this is Senior Stockman. It's based on a design that's over 100 years old. Of course, this is a Stockman pattern. Everybody knows and loves the Stockman pattern, but it was based on, or evolved from, might be a better way of saying it, evolved from the cattleman's knife. This became less of a ranching and agricultural knife and more of a tradesman's knife over the years. It was carried by tradesmen, like I said, outdoors enthusiasts, factory workers, you name it. They were seen everywhere for decades and decades. This particular knife and company is special to me because, well, for one thing, I value reliability and bang for your buck over everything else. And when Schrade was a going concern back in when I first got interested in knives, it was the late 90s, early 2000s. And Schrade was still operating out of Ellenville, New York. And what they represented to me was value for money. I could go down to a sporting goods store or a local Walmart or wherever and get a good quality made, decent pocket knife that would last me for years for about $30 to $40. I think I paid $28.50 for a new 34OT Middleman Stockman, which I carried for years. I still have it, I just don't carry it anymore. This fella's on duty in my pocket today. This is another knife that has come out of the collection, and I realize that it's just too darn good to sit around not being used. I'm always concerned about how much it would cost to replace it if I lost it. Well, so what? It's just too darn good not to carry. Let's see, we'll close it up a little bit here and talk some more about it. It has, like I said, the clip, the spay, and the sheep's foot blade. The clip blade, you know, I don't think we're going to be able to get this really well on camera, but the clip blade is so thin, just beautifully thin. Great for slicing. I mean, it's just a cool blade, and I'm tempted to use it as the main blade, but honestly, you're misusing a Stockman if you're always whipping out the clip blade every time you need to cut something. These have their uses, and one of the best uses for the sheep's foot blade, of course, is cutting rope, cords, fiber. Get this one out again. It looks to me like this one. Now, I got this in a secondhand shop and restored it. It was in terrible shape when I got it. But this blade, I believe, was used by somebody to strip wire on a regular basis. That notch was put there deliberately. And used quite a lot. That was the main blade. Cutting cords, cables, wires, even wire stripping in a pinch. And the spay blade, which was, yeah, originally designed for castration. But here's the thing about a spay blade, is it's designed to work around soft tissue, to get into tight places and do what it's got to do and not cause any problems. Which makes it pretty darn handy for things like, I don't know, cutting tags out of some clothing that somebody's wearing without hurting, you know, can you cut the tag out of the back of my sweater, please? Sure, no problem. You ain't gonna poke anybody with this, are you? A little imagination. You can find a lot of uses for a spay blade. Like a lot of people, it's not the most attractive blade in the world. Like a lot of people, I didn't have a lot of respect for it over the years. But now that I kind of understand it a little better, I find more appropriate uses for it. And of course, this guy. Let's do some quick measurements. Main blade comes in at cutting edge of almost 2.5 exactly, maybe 2 5/8, maybe. From tip to the top of the bolster is 3 inches. And I've handled quite a few of these over the years, and they all, that's one thing Schrade got right. The walk and talk on a Schrade was always darn near perfect every time. Never, ever, and maybe I'm just lucky, but I never got a wiggly, wobbly bladed Schrade. Bless your little hearts, Ellenville, New York. Well, there will be more Schrades coming on the channel. And I'll go on and on about this one some other time, I'm sure. Take a look at the old guy here. Sharp-eyed observers will notice right off the hop, it's got the wrong shield. It says Frontier. I found the Frontier shield. This had no shield. I bought it in a junk shop for, I think, $8 about 20 years ago, thinking I had wasted $8, but I tucked it away in a toolbox and forgot about it. And I restored it about, a couple of weeks ago. Cleaned it up, soaked it in some old motor oil, transferred it to some mineral oil, scrubbed it, sprayed out the pivots with WD-40, oiled it up, polished the blades as best I could, put an edge back on them, you know, the usual thing. And this old fella is ready for duty again, and has been in my pocket and been used. And I'm quite happy about that. Listen to the snap on this thing. I don't know how old it is, but the walk and talk is still just perfect. Sorry guys, I got bad fingers today. The arthritis is not being kind in the winter months. But this, yeah, walk and talk on this knife is just terrific and sharp. Oh my goodness, it's sharp. Look at the patina. The teener. Pretty sweet. I just love an old knife that keeps on working. Anyway, guys, that's enough of me rambling on. The Schrade 80T Oldtimer Senior Stockman, built with pride in Ellenville, New York. Just a terrific knife. Thanks for joining me. Keep cutting. We'll see you again.